cloister is a lovely place to live. If you're a moon-sized computational device that requires year-round sub-zero temperatures to avoid melting down.
There you are. You saw the experiment through to the end, yes? The data hasn't arrived yet, so please do tell. Was it as beautiful as I imagined? Any inklings to the result? Or perhaps I oughtn't to have recloistered myself till after the experiment concluded, Well, don't just stand there. Tell me everything. What? Are you all right? Did you hit your head coming up here? I mean, what is that supposed to mean? It couldn't... Wait. Let's start from the beginning. Step me through your understanding of what's gone awry. I assure you it is not. Grace was personally responsible for its selection after advisement by our team. Everything is modeled after top-order labs. What else concerned you? These are all fundamental building blocks of the universe. Together, they form the primordial soup our galaxy was formed from. This is widely recognized in scientific circles. This was just a start. Such models typically make an enormous amount of errors at first. All quite expected, an anticipated setback, nothing more. It simply needs to be revised and refined. You certainly seem to be making a lot out of this, though, one must say. Now, I'm starting to believe you're just needlessly fretting. Is this nerves? I'm sorry, I don't mean to be dismissive. Look, there may be some validity to some of your points, yes. But we'll improve. We will continue to stride forward. There's absolutely no need for all this doom and gloom. Why, I'm shocked. I'm certainly glad Sir Bujolt isn't present to hear such needlessly provocative and deplorable accusation. There is no call for that sort of meanness in the scientific field, and I can personally attest that it is categorically untrue. Now, is that all? Because I think I've had enough of all this. Everything we've done here is built off Sir Bujolt's research, which is quite brilliant. That's both incorrect and rather mean. Ah, the experiment data just arrived in my terminal. Allow me to eyeball it a moment. Perhaps there's something here to help prove or disprove any of what you've been saying. There was some variance to the input data. Not far beyond acceptable parameters, but curious. Could explain the failure. Oh, come. One bad test wouldn't mean the science is completely flawed. I fear this was a waste of valuable time.
If I may, I have a point I'd like to add. There's a critical flaw in Sir Bujolt's approach I think best illustrated by this English phrase. Time flies like an arrow. Fruit flies like a banana. I much appreciate this jest. Very simple, yet clever. Because in English, the word like can mean similar to or I prefer. And flies can be trousseau, or plural of the insect. Through this perspective, it functions, makes sense, is humorous even. But in another language where words' meanings differ slightly, it does not. The framework we interpret the statement from changes, thus rendering it uninterpretable. False. Bujold's method of shortcutting the universal equation is much the same.
It lacks context. When you extrapolate the data from the mini-universe to the larger one, the information itself may scale correctly, but fail to interrelate. This has been a difficult conversation. Challenging, disputatious, at times compelling. Yet I remain unswayed.
We tried. Our fallback plan's our only option now. Head for the hatch.
What was that? You're starting to worry me. What do you intend to do?
Fellow scholars of the Order, a tragic accident has occurred. During our recent experiments in test chamber beta, we failed to recognize that ventilation systems had been left connected to test chamber alpha. As you know, it had been recently refurbished as an enclosure for Anchoress Brun. She gave her life for science. Well, it's true that we found the related research deeply flawed, but she gave her life for the pursuit of science. As the experiment was a colossal failure, I, as senior scientist remaining, have determined we must abandon this inquiry and shut down the program immediately. Oh, such a terrible shame. Farewell.
I understand now why they say never meet your heroes, Intercessor Delgado. You've truly been an enormous disappointment. A key experiment fails and Anchoress Brun falls prey to an unfortunate accident right after you and your consort arrive. And we are all to believe these events are unrelated?
That's circumstantial and more than a mite bit paranoid. I expect better from an Order scientician. Even one from the Department of Applied Scientism.
Don't think I don't see your handprints all over this, Delgado. I don't care that you somehow roped in Bujold with that little performance. I'm not buying it. The Anchoress, poor trusting soul that she was, may have believed you were here in good faith. But I don't. You're looking more and more like enemies to me. You think I am predisposed to assume their logic is sound and reasoning impeccable. Perhaps I do defer in part where such intellects are involved. Yet, the greater facts of this matter remain unevinced. And I remain unconvinced.
According to my field calculations, we are well past the point where we need to be delicate here. In fact, I strongly suggest we wipe the floor with these ill-notioned traitors, starting with this one, the arrogant know-nothing who led Anchoress Brun astray.
This slapdash pretense is over. I knew it!
Proceeding forward!
Vitals are in the red, Commander. Adversary vulnerabilities identified.
Continuing fire.
Back in business.
About to verify my trepidation.
Re-engaging. Yeah.
Enough shilly-shallying.
Reacquiring target.
Reporting search.
Information gathering continues.
Rough customers at the...
Yes, yes.
Ratcheting up my aggression. Yeah. Combatant scan. Target analyzed. Lay down fire. Stun weapon ready, Commander. Check your scopes for combatant analysis. Do try to limit further damage, Commander. I have a fix on their weaknesses. Combatant scan. Target analyzed. Lay down fire. Adversary vulnerabilities identified. Check your scopes for combatant analysis.
Raring to go.
I have a fix on their weaknesses. Adversary vulnerabilities identified. Standing by to stupefy. Target analyzed. Lay down fire.
Ready?
Combatant scan. I have a fix on their weaknesses.
Oh, look who it is. The legendary former head intercessor of the Order. Another mission successfully completed. Made it through all that without a scratch, hmm? Glad to see. Say, I know this was difficult and rather a mess, but you listened. You tried to do right before you did what you must. I appreciate it, the attempt. No matter how that may sound.
The credit or blame belongs to the commander here. It was their decision, ultimately.
You forget I know you. You always thought you knew better. No one could ever convince you of anything. Before, that is. Good to see. Maybe you are facing yourself.
There are a few things I'm still not used to saying. I was wrong. I'm sorry. please. And thank you. But thank you, Anais.
At any rate, I'm off. You all take care now. Marisol, don't be too enigmatic or anything. Try. Before I forget. Meant to give you this earlier.
Oh, thank you, Anais. Goodbye. Oh, Brunn obviously murdered her. Thought you knew that. Perhaps it was an accident. Perhaps she simply wanted to knock Chow unconscious so she could sneak away. Or not. Indefinite immurement isn't for everyone. Even the finest minds may crack under the strain. But her canned, feigned concern about Chow, how she kept changing the subject, both belied an underlying sense of guilt to me. Oh, not really. Not yet, at any rate. Everything's a bit raw right now. But suppose I will be. Thank you, dear.
Might take some time for Marisol to see yet, but I reckon this was the best possible outcome. There's always another way. Now she knows that too.
Commander, it's customary to... I've had some time to cogitate over what occurred at Point Obviation. Some parts don't sit right with me still. Wonder if you and I might talk it through. A bit, yes. With the work I used to do, I'm no stranger to guilt and regret. Midway into my requisite sleep cycle is when it usually plagues me the most. We could have done better by Ankress Brunn. If we'd properly convinced her to abandon the research, I'd doubtlessly still lament duping her, but she'd be alive. And yet, such actions were par for the course for me in the past. When my remorse for Brunn rears its head, it will need to get in line. Yes, Southworth was complicit. And now she's dead. I hope so, at least. According to Anais, we could have reduced the likelihood of that occurring by completing the brain-off. It's not anywhere near zero, but it's unlikely. She seemed pleased that we at least attempted to address her concerns, so I've changed, apparently. Thanks to you. No. There's plenty of credit and blame to go around. It's been a while since anyone gave me a good talking to like Anais did. And I'll admit your influence has been rather positive. I'm pleased with the path I'm on now. I didn't think this is what... Appreciate you taking the time.
Nature made apples, but anti-Fizzos made them better with anti-Cleo's patented mock apple
You know,
cider.
I can't recall seeing any of these protectorate types ever run a scene on you.
People think I got ejected from the saloon because I'm 3 sheets to the wind. So maybe I am drunk. Drunk on a whole night.
Ah, Inez. Have you come back for a tune-up? I've got just the injection for that. Freezes those pesky muscles right back into place.
No, yeah, a tune-up sounds good.
I got a device that might help stabilize what I got going on up on the shoulder. Ought to let me use my graft all the more often. Think you can install it?
Oh, well, this device is unusual and rather ingenious, if I may say so. Hold still, dear. This should take but a moment. There. I dare say you won't be needing any tune-ups in the near future. But I do trust you'll find an excuse to come by for the occasional visit. Where did you find such a device, anyhow? What is it, dear? You look, well, a bit like you've been stung by a terror ray. I've got ointment for that too, you know.
There's a grafting lab way out on Cloister that was still operational. Till recently. I found it, Doc. And... Law. I ain't seen any horrors like that.
Still operating? Inez, do you feel all right? The program was shut down more than 6 months ago. Any further funding would be in direct violation of Auntie's orders.
I know what I saw. They were brutalizing folk and creatures. Paying them no mind, giving them no honor, even if they succumb to the process. The doctor there, he killed a friend of mine. And you're telling me you knew nothing of it?
Inez, I swear I didn't. That sounds... Oh, Sovereign's mercy, that sounds precisely like what I would protest with every breath.
The creatures they were experimenting on broke out of their cages, killed most of the staff. But you know what's worse? Keeping a dead soldier's body on display. Like a thing. I found the doctor in charge, still alive, cowering. I killed him, and let his sick aims die along with him. There's no good that can come of his work. Nothing.
But this ain't the extent of it, I fear. I need to find out who's responsible for all this.
Oh, Inez, I know you do. But with the program officially shuttered, it would be awfully difficult to ascertain which individual has the pockets to fund such a... Wait. Yes, that does shed light on a correspondence I received recently. A vice president sent a message asking for my presence and scientific expertise to discuss a unique opportunity. I found the secrecy odd at the time, but I do suppose it lines up with your discovery.
Ain't surprising. What's his name? Where can we find him?
His name is Willard Conan, VP of Experimental Operations. The very man who was in charge of the grafting program at its inception. He's... Oh, I know that look. If you mean to do something, I beg you.
Doc, with all due respect, what I do with him when I get there is my own damn business.
If you think it's my own well-being I fear, then you don't know me at all. I will help you. Vice President Conan's office is aboard the Undisputed Claim, the flagship of Auntie's Choice. I do not know where exactly, as I've never been, but it's my understanding that you will need to present this calling card to gain entry. Inez, all I ask is that you remain safe. A terrible wrong has been done.
I can't promise anything, Doc.
Commander, I've been thinking. We got the intel we need, Commander. The Undisputed Claim's our destination. When we find Willard and stop this law-damned program in its track, been doing some thinking about ending the grafting program for good. It's gotta happen. Auntie had me good and fooled. She ain't any better. Our overlords had a saying in Tau Ceti. If you got a rabid canid, you put it down before it maddens. It was terrifying. But now, I reckon I see some sense in that saying. Retribution never came for the folk at the top back then. But good thing I've already gotten started then. I wonder if this is what Ortiz had in mind when he sent me that message. He trusted my judgment, knew I always aimed, but he also knew both of us had been lied to when we joined up. The notion that our taking extraordinary risks would pay dividends. Do you think he knew this would be the final straw? Thanks, Commander. Maybe this is what folk mean by the architects setting things in motion. Maybe this...
I recall this place. These stations have been automated since my day, though this one has certainly accrued dust. Odd that it would be in a state of lockdown. I have a general override that should allow us entry, but anything specific to local systems, including security systems, may be beyond me. Attendant bases? These security measures should not be operational. And the station seems to be on reserve power. We'd best tread carefully. No one is here, lying in ambush. Perhaps some stray systemic error activated the entryway defenses. We'd best first report to security ops, lift this lockdown. From there, we can set about reactivating the station's primary power, which will allow us to explore unhindered. that a footprint in the dust? This station shouldn't have received visitors in years. Be on guard. Someone else may be here. My passcode shall not work on this terminal. Unlocking it may be a creative endeavor. Good effort lifting the lockdown. We may now reactivate the station in the reactor room. reactor activation circuits shall likely be dysfunctional. It's a known issue with these old stations. Let me look. Corroded transistors, dust in the actuator. Does Sprat gnaw on this? Sweet Sovereign, what a mess. There. I think I have it. Let us hope my override does not trigger any security alerts. Good. This should avail us of a much simpler search. Let us return to the central room once more and see if anything seems out of place.
Standing by with life support.
Be wary for anything that may be a clue as to the hidden room's location. I cannot say I have had to search for a hidden switch in a protectorate holding before. Keep watch. It could be rather small and well hidden. Ah, I think I've spotted it. Look there at the valve beside the sickly yellow pipe. There behind the room's main pillar. I'm certain of movement below.
Passcode is limber. Now, let's try amulet. No. Wingtip. Now, Sovereign's gavel. I should remember this. Damn it. Ambergris can't be it. That's too short for a facility like this. Wait. Oh, no.
Of the strategies of feigning innocence I have seen, this is certainly the most pathetic. I accuse you of trespassing upon the private domain of the Sovereign. For these crimes... Wait, I know you. Luther Okada? What in blazes are you doing here? And why do you wear a Sub Rosa uniform?
Because I work for Sub Rosa? More than that, I don't think I can say, Cadet Rao. Mostly because I'm not supposed to, but also because I can't remember.
Okada is, or was, a petty troublemaker, though a crafty one. As cadets, Virgil and I apprehended him often. Sometimes Virgil let him go, but he usually went to mental refreshment.
Often enough to know the technicians by name. Until I forgot them again.
This truly is no ploy. But mental refreshment is supposed to return wayward subjects to the proper path, not cause whatever this is. Despite his faults, the Okada I knew was ultimately benign. But the fact remains that he now trespasses in a secure facility. Duty dictates that I must execute him. That's a wise path. One that shall give me time to contemplate what must be done.
An arbiter used the word execute in the last few seconds, yet I remain alive? Didn't think that was possible. He and the other one must have put me away close to 12 times each. I used to be something of a ne'er-do-well.
Ne'er-do-well is a polite term. He was a repeat malefactor. I believe last time we met, he'd vandalized a janitorial automech in an attempt to make its...
I got 18 months of hard labor for that. Served me right.
As much as I'd prefer not to admit it, you may be right. Whoever hired him must not have known about his addled mind. They were moving quickly, desperately.
I didn't used to be like this. I can still sneak with the best of them. Not being able to remember doesn't make me any worse as an agent. It doesn't.
Any of my fellow arbiters would have killed you before this conversation began. But I can't decide whether to disdain or pity you.
I was sent here to do a specific job, but some of the details are hazy. Gives me conniptions.
I can try. Okada, I'm sympathetic of your plight, but my sympathy alone will not avail me of my duty. I require a foolproof reason to allow you to live.
Seems I'm reduced to bargaining for my life. Wouldn't have been in this predicament if it weren't for my blasted brain pan. Fine. I was hired by an anonymous third party. They provided me with the station's location and credentials to bypass its defenses. May have tripped a few on my way here. Can't recall. I was told the station was abandoned, which it clearly isn't, and to break into this terminal and delete the information on it. That is all I know. I don't even know the name of this station.
Ignorance does not excuse criminal action. Even if you did not know the severity of this infiltration, it remains a deadly serious infraction. I don't know that I can. He is a trespasser. His slipping mind matters not. My duty dictates it. Killing Okada may not affect the one who hired him, but his trespass is an indelible fact. He should not be here. That doesn't mean anything. An arbiter cannot trespass. And even if I could, I still act with the Protectorates. Were the situation different, perhaps I could look the other way. But Okada has clearly defected, and is thus not afforded such a luxury. You have my trust. But if I am to remain loyal to my morals, I must be convinced. I am familiar with the concept, but in the Protectorate, intent matters little. Manslaughter still results in death. Sedition can happen unconsciously, just as it may consciously. There is a difference. A murderer's family is imprisoned, whereas they are not in the case of incidental death. But I do suppose the perpetrator's punishment does not change. Though this is hardly the place for a discussion about Protectorate law, I do at least see your point. It is fortunate you have gained my trust, or I would not be gone. You've been granted your final stay of execution.
I didn't think this would happen. And you... Without you, I would have been reduced to my composite parts. Here, take these. I suppose you'll have more use for them than I, in my present state.
Allowing a Sub Rosa agent to leave with his life in the heart of a Protectorate station. We may have to speak on this further. But let us see what we came here for first. The hint pertaining to the passcode on that terminal, I believe I know the answer. It is contained in a foot. An Arbiter's gavel is judgment, and an Arbiter's From that terminal, it sounds as if the Supreme Arbiter had some sort of business with the Consul. To what end, I wonder? The tone of her response seemed relaxed, but I do not believe she would have met with the Consul unless she had no other choice. And that feckless agent. I don't understand his aim or who he would be working for. Only the Consul. But the Protectorate does not ally itself with Sub Rosa. I couldn't imagine the Consul pinning his duties on someone so clearly out of sorts as our recently well, at least we found what we needed on the Supreme. As for Okada, my decision to allow him to go free was at odds with all I have been taught. He was a traitor and should have died. Yet, I cannot help but feel strangely justified. My role does not allow for mercy. I am supposed to uphold the Protectorate's laws. How can I claim thus if I allowed a traitor to go free? To me, there cannot be. That is, there isn't. That's not possible, and I cannot afford to think of it as such. Altogether, I think visiting this station was fruitful for my ultimate task. Hopefully we'll grow, and circumstances aside, I appreciate your accompanying me here, Commander. It means much.
It would appear our next stop is Praetor, specifically Central Control. I look forward to traveling there, once you've sufficiently prepared. No. The Sentinel worked on the Consul's behalf. I do note that the agent was an odd wrinkle. But that still does not fly in the face of what... Excellent. I look forward to it. Let us make our way to Central Control forthwith. I believe what we need is on that terminal. I'll see if I can find my way in. The terminal's locked, which is no surprise. See if you can find some method to bypass its passcode. Did you hear that? I think something may have unlocked. I think this may unlock the terminal, but the toggle mechanism appears compromised. I shall hold it. You attempt to gain access to the machine. I sense we close in on something central to my investigation. We simply must live to see it through. I sense we close in on something central to my investigation. We simply must live to see it through. finished reading through that terminal. The elevator's been summoned.
Consul Thoreau, I'm sure you're surprised to be receiving this message, and thus I can assume you already know my intent. Even considering aligning myself against the Sovereign is like sticking my hand in boiling oil. Yet my dead charges spur me forward. 10 scores of Arcadia's finest, at least 10 scores, died in defense of Golden Ridge. And does the region lie in our control? No. We fled like sprats, all at Varric's behest. I shall lower myself to work with you, Consul. I will help you uphold your plan to... Hold... What in blazes? How long have you been standing there? What did you hear?
I cannot believe what I heard. I cannot. Actually, it wasn't. Perhaps at first, until I discerned her true intentions. My mentor hated the Consul and was deeply devoted to the Sovereign. She'd never speak thus, unless she was trying to lure the Consul into a trap.
Error. Arbiter's logic is circuitous and flawed. Mental health assessment recommended.
What I'm proposing is eminently plausible. It may be beyond you to see her machinations, but it's obvious to me that this was merely an intricate play. It's all that makes sense. It's not obvious to me. You didn't know her. Wait, do you hear that?
Arbiter Rao, I finally got you. Submit quietly to the Protectorate's justice for your manifold transgressions.
Are you insane? Who are you? And on whose authority do you claim to judge me?
My name is Junior Arbiter Mayhall, and I operate on Arbiter Mandate, as you did once. Now, no questions. This is already going to be difficult enough.
It's logical. The Sentinels have all but taken over central control. It stands to reason the few Arbiters still trained in...
I cannot deny that central control has changed, but... What am I saying? I need not defend myself from the likes of you.
Enough. This has been an unpleasant day, and my patience is gone. Your accusations are baseless, and accosting a higher-ranked Arbiter is grounds for arbitration.
They're far from baseless. You stand accused of abandoning your post, of infiltrating Protectorate facilities with opaque aims, and of hampering the Protectorate war effort. The There's no discussion to be had with criminals. I needed to see firsthand that Arbiter Rao had abandoned his station. He has, and must meet my judgment.
These accusations of yours are slander. If you believe false bravado shall save you from my wrath, you're sorely mistaken. That question would have been easier prior to our traveling together. I've spared others at your behest, after all. I shall speak plainly. I would rather spare her, as her devotion to justice seems to match my own. But duty dictates I answer her accusations earnestly. As I have not done wrong, her accusations are slander, and therefore must be punished. Hardly. She could not remind me of myself, for were I in her place, I would know better than to accost my superiors. I have been taught to uphold justice by any means necessary. The junior arbiter is wrongfully accusing me, which stands in the way of my upholding justice. Her accusations are grave enough to be answered with violence. But I understand why she is making them. And her perspective, though skewed, should not merit death. I don't like thinking thus. It toes the line of traitorism. But the alternative is the judgment of one I believe to be innocent. Such an action cannot transpire.
What is this insanity? I would never imagine an Arbiter balking from their chosen course. I had hoped Arbiter Rao would come to his senses, but obviously to no avail. I may not wish to judge him. I may not understand what has come over him. It is of no consequence. His crimes against the Protectorate are all that matters.
The ex-Protectorate subject there had been mentally refreshed. Killing him would have accomplished nothing, despite his crimes, as he was merely a pawn to someone else.
That's even worse than I thought. You chose not to do your duty, and expect telling me so would soften my decision to judge you?
The Supreme Arbiter taught me to follow my own sense of justice. And I have. Use your mind. Think about what I did. What you intend to do. Is this moral? Is this right? The reason I have deserted is to search for evidence leading to the true killer of the Supreme Arbiter. I know the concept of evidence is not broadly taught. The Supreme Arbiter taught me to seek out the facts of one who has committed a crime in order to better identify them, in order to avoid judging innocence. This, in turn, would allow me to do my duty more properly, and to improve society as a result. You see, I haven't deserted the Protectorate. I'm conducting my own investigation.
But by looking into her death, you go against High Command's official statement. You claim to know better than the Protectorate.
And if I am mistaken, I shall submit myself for judgment. But I have already found evidence to the contrary. All that stands between me and the true killer is you. You're no fool. I can see you understand my reasoning. All that you must decide now is if it is right to render judgment upon me. We don't know that for certain, but to an onlooker, without our knowledge, it could seem that way. And such presumed traitorousness would be very confusing.
Even the Supreme Arbiter has struggled with this? That doesn't seem possible. But I suppose there's no way to ask her now. I shall trust your words. Consider my hand stayed. I can see that judging Tristan would only rob the Protectorate of another of its servants. It seems I must reflect on this matter.
It would appear we're in agreement. Neither of us shall...
Disengaging weapon systems.
So, what course of action do we take now?
I shall have a better idea of wisdom to impart once I've gotten to the bottom of everything. I fear you're not the only one reeling, Junior Arbiter.
Oh, okay. Well, if you're still confused once everything calms, perhaps you might seek me out.
The dilemmas facing us are likely far more than two Arbiters can decipher alone, unfortunately. But I suppose...
right.
I'm pleased we were able to resolve that altercation peaceably. Robbing Arcadia of an enthusiastic recruit would have given me little joy. You know, I'd even venture to say she reminded me just a little of myself as a lad. All this excitement did not make me forget the confession on the Supreme Arbiter's terminal. I have to bring it to Virgil. Together, we can discover exactly what transpired. Have you lived all your life within the Protectorate? No. What do you know about what makes an Arbiter? I refuse to question the Supreme Arbiter. Virgil will know what to make of this. He'll... Together...
Not to pry, Agent Ibarra, but you appear to be suffering more discomfort than usual at the moment.
How'd you know? Most folks can't suss it out unless I'm looking.
Just an occupational habit, dear. I admit I'm accustomed to seeing the world through a lens of exploitable vulnerabilities. Meant no offense.
No offense taken, Marisol. Directorate trained me much the same. Ain't easy, is it? Always looking for weaknesses, places to pinch and twist.
Very true, dear. It's a valuable skill in nearly every circumstance, except perhaps light conversation. I do hope your discomfort improves, though.
Once we find Virgil, he and I shall unravel what occurred with the Supreme...
Took what nature heedlessly assembled and vastly rebettered it through artificial means. At Auntie's Choice, we strive to be 110% wholly plus artificial. Artificiality is our guiding principle. Enjoy an artificial...
You got my begrudging respect, so congratulations.
No getters on my payroll. It's time to recognize the downwardly mobile with my latest emotions report. Starting with Dr. Giles Rasmussen, demoted from his unnamed and clearly unimportant position within experimental operations. Welcome to your new role as site sanitation doc. Next, we
It's high time one of you scientist types responded to my calling cards. The position's been open for more than 2 days, and already productivity is tanked by 149.4%. You want the role, it's yours, but I'm not budging on those hourly rates.
Let me guess. You're backfilling Rasmussen's position? Or all the scientists who work with him on Cloister lying cold on the lab floor?
Both, obviously. Unless you mean to tell me a graft like yours can install itself. Do you want the job or not? We're burning starlight.
I do. Been waiting on this moment. This grafting program is a law-damned abomination. I went to your lab on Cloister, saw for myself what kind of depravity your folk got up to there. It's sick. My friend was butchered by Rasmussen. And he wasn't the only one. In fact, this program's been a sham from the start. I got tossed aside. And for what? A mistake? Ain't nothing good that's come of this. It's time to call it quits.
What a preposterous notion. Shall we stop producing inhalers because of side effects? Or shut down all food factories because one severed appendage finds its way into packaging? No, certainly not. I am not to blame for whatever inconvenience you experienced as a first edition patient. To quit now would be to toss aside all our progress. Oh, please. You don't even know half of my plans for this project. But if you did, you'd certainly want in.
Don't matter to me what your plans are, or what you think you might accomplish. You've hurt too many good folk, and I've had enough.
I fear you've gotten too negative an impression of this work. Hear me out, will you? Allow me to assuage those fears. My mind is not entirely consumed by capital, I assure you. It's also consumed with professional pride and self-preservation. We cannot speak of sensitive business details here. There's no telling which opportunistic colleague or overpaid contractor could be listening in. They would ruin me. Ruin me! Meet me in back deck steerage. Take this pass with the tram. And for law's sake, make sure no hanger-on follows you. Especially that assistant of mine next door. Chin up, dear. I believe I'll change your mind yet.
We'll see. Seen this song and dance from all manner of suits before. Reckon he'll try to reel us into a ridiculous scheme, or bribe us with bits or booze or what have you. But this'll make it easier for us to intimidate the bastard into stepping down. Oh, I relish the notion.
Even with half our team's 32 backs benched, they'd forfeit by middle time. It would be
Tramicular. Arriving any moment now. Approaching station.
Ah, you came. Foolish, aren't you? Thinking I'd reveal my contractors?
I shall not be
hostile.
Moving
Come through, my good Biff. That discount will be applied to your next purchase at the commissary, but cannot be combined with other... Ah! You're still alive!
Ain't gonna be that easy to get rid of us, you idiot. This how you treat all folk who approach you in good faith?
No folk have ever made it this far. How did you get past all my contractors? They were heavily trained and heavily expensive.
They were about half as coordinated as a herd of sprats, and just as threatening.
Do not make a mockery of the dead. They were all someone's children, partners, and investments. So what do you want? Allow me to guess. Money? We all want money. And I've plenty, I assure you.
He really thought he could fight us off. Damn fool. Which means they can continue his bastardization of a grafting program and make it all the worse if they so choose. Ain't about to let that happen. Well, ain't that a complete about-face? You agreed with me on Cloister that nothing good can come of this. I need your help. It's obvious he was up to his neck in some scheme. If we dig it up and get the word out, his legacy will be in shreds. Maybe folk will be less inclined to follow in his footsteps. All right. We ought to see if he's got anything of note on his person. Once we got what we need...
Trinicular, arriving any moment now. Approaching station.
Purchase and consume with Auntie's Choice. Arcadia Grove nature, because nature wants to kill you. Since then, our company has grown, evolved, consumed the first of many rivals. But that original goal remains. What of our goals?
Horse comestibles! Horse comestibles! We're literally giving them away!
Yes, I understand I may look in charge, but I'm just minding the desk for our esteemed director. The real talent, as they say.
I need to get a message on the broadcast, urgently. Can you help with that?
Not unless you need any clever pointers on enunciation. Our director, however, is in one of the recording booths. Through the door to your left. You'll want to speak with her.
Auntie, when are you going to have a sale?
My dear child, every day is a sale at Auntie's.
Welcome to Wireless Free Arcadia Studios. Thessaly Falk, Director of Talent Placation and General Runnings. Here to contract a recording or in the market for autographs?
Holt sent me to speak with you. I got a message I'd like to send out over the wireless. Trust me, this is one all the folk in Auntie's Choice won't want to miss.
Is that so? Well, the more riveting the content, the larger our commissions. However, as you're without an appointment and I'm quite busy, I'm afraid I've only time to record one take. Do make it count. Shall we begin?
Glad we're in agreement. I'm here to expose the truth about a prominent vice president. His business dealings are not what they seem.
That's quite the bold claim. Now remember to speak into the mic, dear. Enunciate clearly, but with feeling. Inhabit the words. Be the message. Joining us today in the studio is a very special guest and rare specimen indeed, a grafted soldier. And one who alleges that one of Auntie's own vice presidents is not who he seems. Take it away.
Inez Seelong speaking. I got intel on an illegal program led by Vice President of Experimental Operations, Willard Conan. Folk aplenty suffered because of it.
Some say there cannot be success without suffering. It's more or less standard operating procedure, isn't it? Unless you're leaving out any gory details. Some within our organization might call that frugal, thrifty even. That is, why waste a perfectly good resource when no one else has use for it?
These are human beings I'm speaking of, not barrels of void damn uranium. They were good folk who didn't know what they were signing up for. They deserved better. But if that ain't incriminating enough for you, Willard had himself some money problems, which ain't too distant from a grave sin far as Auntie's concerned.
Ah, now we're getting somewhere. Tell me, did he squander all his bits on drink? Bet it all on a tarmac and cheese rebranding? Or worse? Thoroughly recount every lurid detail?
I imagine it was so he could keep his illegal program running, but ain't clear on where the money came from, which I reckon was by design.
Well, that tells us nothing. Under-the-table deals are commonplace and encouraged within Auntie's Choice. You're very new to this kind of business, aren't you? Your disclosure wasn't as iniquitous or revelatory as you implied. The only thing shocking was your abundant naivete.
Commander, I don't think we did enough. Law. I know we ain't gonna know for sure until the broadcast airs, but we ought to go.
Oh, Inez, almost forgot. We have a bit of a goodie bag for special guests who visit the studio. You qualify. Do collect it from the front desk on your way out.
That you can't imagine, but that we can sell you recipes for. We are also the only retailers for parasite-free purple berries.
The term parasite-free indicates the fact that any kind of parasite found in an Auntie's Choice product is provided free of charge. And
Wonderful working with you. Let's definitely do lunch sometime.
And the eating of said parasite absolves Auntie's Choice of any legal responsibility in perpetuity throughout the galaxy.
Such a pleasure to work with you. Let's chill together again. Again sometime.
For our ages, a thing. To be handed down.
Don't let us keep you.
Good luck, my ameliorator. Remember, you can't spell heinous ascetic without...
Don't wait for a line to form in front of you. Availability is severely limited. Let this be the first courageous leap you make into a fresh, pioneering new career.
I'm liking the enthusiasm you're bringing to the table.
You cannot be here. My contract stipulates that this lab door remains locked at all times. I am not to be disturbed. Ha! That's funny, considering the heaps of times I've been called such.
I'm here to tell you that your treacherous fiend of a boss is now out of commission, and I'm investigating all of his indiscretions. You wouldn't happen to know about any unsanctioned business dealings, would you?
Ah, I'm afraid I can't help with that. I've only spoken with him once, upon my hiring. Well, yes, but not here or face-to-face. I was to have all communications sent to a private room at the Best Choice. He held all his business dealings and records therein. I gather he was circumventing intellectual property taxes or some such.
The Best Choice. That's the lounge for VIPs, looking out over the Esplanade, if I'm remembering right. We might pay it a visit. Oh, law. That room is what he meant by the carousal corner in that terminal entry, isn't it?
If that's all, I'll thank you kindly for closing the door when you leave.
Of course, I also enjoy the simple pleasure of watching professional athletes bludgeon each other. Such a relatable interest. See, subordinates, I'm just like you. Until next time, look for me in the Platinum Executive above the stage. Anti-Cleos was specifically... designed to be better than nature, because nature wants to kill you. Since then, our company has grown, evolved, consumed the first of many rivals. But that original goal remains one of our goals. Yes, now we strive to spread unfettered free
Purpleberry product samples! Purpleberry product samples!
But we do so knowing you persist. Well fortified by our products.
Horse comestibles! Horse comestibles! We're literally giving them away!
Armed with Auntie's choice. Trust your Auntie. This is Auntie Cleo, offering a warm welcome to all visiting Auntie's Choice employees.
Purpleberry product samples! Purpleberry product samples!
Labor with committing to a side. An artificial life is a life that's sweeter. Live a life that's sweeter with Auntie's Choice. Item. Business is good. We have positive bit flow. Our portfolio is diversified. But we can...
Yeah, this is about what I expected.
I'll give it to you straight in my quarterly underperformance review. First up, excessive corporate malfeasance. The only division that earns us less when they work more. Ease off the throttle, gang. Won't be any malfeasance if you don't. Next is assertive arbitration. Quite the bit pit. Down 14% in net gross. You're to squeeze blood from every contract. In the red, learn to negotiate. Xenobiological experts exploitation's output is down 18%. I'm not paying professional hunters to run a petting zoo. Acquire and exploit the local forest. Your life's work. I get it. Between the rifts, aggressive rivals, and the actions of maverick freelancers, there's a lot of volatility out there right now. The market hates uncertainty. Can't say I need. But I'll have no truck with the ambition deficient. Did support me. Spare me no gumption.
Welcome.
Holt sent me.
Is that so? However, as you're without an appointment.
Glad we're in it. I'm here to.
That's quite the bold claim. Now remember to joining us to and one.
Inez Sealongs.
Some say there cannot be success without suffering. It's more or less standard operating procedure, isn't it? Some within our organization.
These are human beings, but if that ain't
Ah, now we're getting somewhere. Tell me, did he...
He stole from Auntie directly. I have here, in his own words, an admission to the crime. It's go-getterness gone too far. And you know what happens to one of Auntie's nephews who misbehaves?
Splendiferous! Couldn't hardly get more sensational than that if we tried. The audience will be on the edge of their seat hearing all the ghastly minutiae about this scandal.
I think we did it. Won't know for sure until the broadcast airs, of course, but... Law, I reckon I might finally be able to put this to rest. For Ortiz. For everyone. Thank you, Commander.
Oh, Inez, almost forgot. We have a bit of a goodie bag for special guests who visit the studio.
110% wholly plus artificial. Artificiality is our guiding principle. Enjoy an artificially enhanced existence.
Goodie bag for Trooper Inez Sealong right here. Compliments of the studio brass and all of us.
With Auntie's choice.
Wonderful working with you.
No getters on my payroll. It's time to recognize the downwardly mobile. Latest emotion.
Have time for a chat, Commander? Commander, you hear my interview over the wireless too? They've been playing it every hour. Part of it, anyway. Seems all the evidence we brought Thessaly made an impression. Other VPs are fearing for their jobs now. Can you imagine? Reckon nobody will touch Willard's work now. Definitely. I'd bet a post-mortem on Willard's activities is being drafted as we speak. Few are keen to repeat the same mistakes as someone trotted out as a cautionary tale. If I ain't said it recently, then let me say it again. Thank you. I don't think I could have done right by Ortiz all on my own. Nobody has to be hurt like he was again. Reckon I'll find a way to look after the other grafted soldiers out there. You know, it's hard to fathom that just months ago I spent so much... I really believed when I ended my So yeah, a better life is possible. Just not at someone else's mercy. I ain't gonna... I will, Commander. Anyhow, that's enough sorting my thoughts for the moment. We gotta get...
Commander, I have news. I finally heard back from Virgil. His message was suitably vague. I suspect he fears the Consul's eyes scanning his message, but I believe it to refer to the Arbiter training facility located on Paradise Island. Bringing our findings to Virgin, I only... Silent as a tomb. We aren't too late. If Virgil's not about, he's like to be in the training grounds. There's a lift that will take us lower, located behind the door upstairs.
Tristan! It's a relief to see a friendly face. Do come up.
Virgil! Ah, thank the architect I found you intact. We visited the Supreme Arbiter's office in Central Control and found something... impossible.
Impossible? Why is it impossible? So that you may claim ignorance as to the truth of what you've uncovered? Fine. If you're still so thick-skulled, Tristan, then I can see I've no choice but to confess. Hold. Do you hear movement?
Attention, Arbiter Virgil Montag. Under the jurisdiction of the Council, we stand to bring you low. Do not resist.
Damnation. I knew the Sentinels were looking for me, but I did not expect they would come to this place. We have no choice but to fight. I can operate our turrets from this location, but you must engage the Sentinels head-on to prevent our being overwhelmed. Go now.
Arbiter Montag, lay down your arms. Surrender and die.
Frankly, pissed off.
Those fools were but an expeditionary force. I've no doubt the bulk of their number remains on the surface. I shall take an alternate path to prepare a surprise for our would-be assailants. Then I shall flank them as you engage them.
Hold. You were beginning to say something before we were ambushed. I would care to hear it.
We cannot have this conversation until we are safe. Engage those on the surface and I shall join you. Swift death. Arbiters shall
Virgil, enough! Our being at odds with the Council is one thing, but that was a small army! What have you done?
You already know whether you're willing to admit it or not. Do you sincerely have a need for me to spell it out before you'll face the truth? Very well then. Tristan, you stand before the murderer of the Supreme Arbiter.
I don't believe this. The Council must have captured you and sent you to mental refreshment. It's the only...
Open your eyes, Rao. Those Sentinels were here with due cause. The elimination of a murderer. The Supreme Arbiter was planning to send a message in her final moments, pledging allegiance to the Consul. Who do you think bore witness to those final moments? I did what I thought was just.
No. You lied to me?
I had to. I knew that if you learned what had transpired, why I did what I did, it would destroy you.
Would it? Or were you just trying to save yourself from my wrath?
With the demands this war has made on us all, I'd not seen our mentor for some time. My visit was meant to be a surprise. Unfortunately, it was. I overheard her decision to align herself with the Consul before she realized I was there. This admission, I had no choice but to act.
But there was a choice. Why didn't you come to me? Together we could have come up with something. Some other course of action!
Because I didn't want you to know. I never wanted you to learn the truth because I feared you'd lose your faith. No. Sentinel Peralt's remarks were the first I'd heard of any secret room. I feared what you might learn there, so I scrambled to find an agent who might locate the room before you. I only had one contact who I knew may be able to do the job. Obviously, he did not succeed. I was pleased to learn that my decision did not result in his death, at the very least. That is news to me. A junior arbiter judging Tristan. I can't imagine you let that stand.
Killing one of Arcadia's future arbiters over a singular breach of rank would have been most tragic, but this is not the matter we're here to discuss. Discovering someone dear to be a traitor is painful. But we must act in the Protectorate's best interest. And bypassing the chain of command is a dangerous precedent. And lying to a fellow arbiter, beyond unacceptable. You're right. You're right. I can't let emotion get the better of me. I find myself torn. Though I still believe wholeheartedly in Protectorate law, you and I have certainly encountered other dubious situations. You taught me to judge based on merits. Together we spared some and executed others. But what I have learned with you shall be most difficult to apply here. Virgil is my sworn brother, and he acted under duress. But killing the Supreme Arbiter is unforgivable. That's not what would have happened. If Virgil had accelerated the matter to High Command, I've no doubt things would have been different.
And how would the Consul have reacted to an official accusation of treason by an inferior, no less? You know they care not for evidence.
But the Supreme Arbiter herself taught us exactly that. That evidence proves the crime. Surely she wouldn't have been so hypocritical as to deny that?
People change when faced with their own death. I would expect you'd learned that by now.
Except that Arbiter's problem was one of intent, not action. I do see some semblance, however. But even if that is the case, there is no room for interpretation here. Sparing Virgil would directly reject all I've been taught to uphold. Any other Arbiter would. But then again, I was not trained as just any Arbiter. The law is clear on this. It is explicitly illegal for an inferior to execute their superior. The issue must be accelerated to a higher authority. But is addressing traitorism not the utmost priority of any Arbiter? Is not the betrayal of everything we stand for more significant than a breach of protocol? I wish to argue with you. With myself, with Virgil, with the Supreme Arbiter. This madness should never have come to pass. But it has. And I must contend with that. I cannot bring myself to execute my sworn brother. Oh, it would doubtless have been bloody. I cannot be certain who would have prevailed. I know not what to make of the Supreme Arbiter's betrayal. I'll have to ruminate on it for some time.
Good on you, Rao. Ain't help.
I don't know what to say. I just wish there had been some other option. That's all well and good, but it shan't undo my actions, or bring anyone back. I must live with that. 1,000 words of thanks for meeting me here, Tristan. Though, before I go, a parting gift.
Go with the Sovereign's blessing, brother. And be careful. If you survive today only to be brought low by an agent of the Consul... Commander, this has all been... draining. I need to... Commander, I've had some time to process what transpired with Virgil. Despite the manner of what Virgil has done, I cannot help but be glad I did not need to slay him. I can only hope he does not run afoul of further Sentinels. But allowing him to live was betraying the Protectorate, wasn't it? I find myself more torn than ever before, and yet it does not feel like a misdeed. I think I must serve the Protectorate more thoroughly than before. I cannot be merciful or weak. The Protectorate has let traitors fester in its midst for too long. If it's to survive, it must be sterner. I shall be the ready hand of this new society. Any who wrong the Protectorate shall be granted no quarter. This I decree, from this moment forward. Never. If anything, it has honed it. Arcadia shall know. Together, you and I shall rid Arcadia of...
I look forward to the reclamation of the Hyperion web. Now, how might we be of use to one another? Yes! Excellent! Take that, reductionists! Your horrid little surveillance devices shall finally be used for what their purpose should have been! Don't tell anyone about that outburst, please. Here's something to keep you quiet. Not for now, but keep speaking to me thusly, and I'll think well on rescinding your audience with her. I've informed the presiding bishop you're coming to speak with her. She can be found in the room off the main stairwell. I'm sure I don't need to say this, but if you even think...
Ah, you've made such progress moving us toward an Order Anti's Choice alliance. Everything seems to be going according to the plan so far. But we approach a critical juncture. When you go in to speak with the presiding bishop, please raise the issue with her. I assure you this is the correct thing to do. For yourself, for us, for Arcadia. If you continue working for the Order alone, it will likely burn any possible bridge with Anti's Choice. So this is our last and only chance. Farewell. I would say good luck, but I put no stock in chance. Only probability. May the plan favor us against long odds.
The Order has always proclaimed patience as a virtue, but I am pleased my waiting is finally at its endpoint. For so long, you have only existed as numerical values on a chart. A bright star in a constellation of possibilities, as it were. Now with your arrival, the Order nears the totality of its goals, provided you are willing to stay aligned with our cause. You must have suffered greatly in your life to have developed such a mercenary attitude. But I certainly will not contest an exchange of mutual aid. Now then, I gather you already know who I am, but science has shown that good manners strengthen developing relationships by 5.3%. So, allow me to introduce myself. I am Ruth Bassar, 3rd Presiding Bishop of the Order of the Ascendant, Supreme Calculator. And, plan willing, the architect of Arcadia's prosperous future. I admit, when I sent my initial message, I did not exactly know who its recipient would be. But I trusted the plan, and lo and behold, it provided you as the solution. Your recent exploits at Greater Tranquility Station have certainly made for compelling reading material. Confronting an assassin, and thereby sparing the delegates' lives before the rift inexplicably destroyed the station? Such a commendable effort is worthy of acknowledgement. Yes. By all reports, it was. But the plan evidently has greater outcomes prepared for Vicar Levin. He is, at that. I consider him a close personal friend, and I cannot say that about many. However, there's something of even greater import we must discuss. It's recently come to my attention that secret communications have been exchanged between Laplace's garden and the undisputed claim. Do you know anything about that? I agree. I once believed the risks of a negative outcome were acceptably low, justifying the pursuit of a peaceful resolution. But Greater Tranquility altered those numbers. I will speak with Levin and tell him to cease all transmissions with the undisputed claim immediately. The Order does not require a corporation's help to win this war. But now, let us move on from this discussion. The Archive remains at the forefront of my mind, as it must be on yours, or else you would not be here. Walk me through your plan, then. Once the data is processed, what then? And so it may, but perhaps we are putting the solution before the problem. Until the Order has control over the Archive again, this discussion is all but moot. Charmingly put. But yes, I do. Any way I interpret the numbers, it is obvious the plan brought you here to deliver the Archive out of Protectorate subjugation and back into Order hands. But before we go further, you should be aware, by aligning yourself with us in this matter, Auntie's Choice will almost assuredly see you as a threat to their interests.
That's putting it mildly. They don't take kindly to folk reneging on a deal, even if said deal ain't been officially struck. But if this is the path you want to go down, I'll be there with you.
This trooper shows unexpected sagacity. for one of her organization. The rest of Auntie's choice will not be so amenable. Are you prepared to accept these consequences? It will be a mutually beneficial arrangement, I can assure you. Let us now discuss the particulars of what will be required to reclaim the archive. Fortunately, I have given this some thought, and already have a strategy in place. First, Order forces must move into our former headquarters at Spyreton. A simpler task now that you have liberated it. By all accounts, more importantly, there is a lift located in Spyreton which can deliver our troops into the archive to assist you against the Protectorate. Unlocking and calling that lift can only be done from within the archive, however. So you will need to infiltrate the archive by alternate means, via a bridge connected to Newton. Fortunately, I am told you already dealt with the cultists there. Unfortunately, you will still need to find a way past a small rift currently blocking the bridge. Ordinarily, I do not fancy surprises, but you are proving an exception to that rule. With such a device in hand, bypassing the rift should be as rudimentary as pie. And perhaps at some later date, you will also permit our scientists to analyze this gadget at length in one of our labs, provided all goes according to plan. There is a computronical key that you will also need to locate within the archive called the Calcaduceus. The Calcaduceus grants special access to the archive. Once it is back in Order hands, we will have full control over its systems once more. Exemplars will accompany you in any direct assault on Spyreton. But to increase our chances of success and minimize casualties, might I recommend a more indirect approach? Take this access card. It opens a discreet side entrance on the western side of Spyreton, just past a collapsed portion of the outer wall. Once inside, it may be possible to divert power from the Protectorate's turrets via a nearby terminal. The same card should grant you access to the building housing the terminal. Nothing more is writ on my chalkboard at the moment. Such sensible rationale merits a return, I think. In anticipation of occupation, I ordered supplies installed in hidden caches around the archive for emergency use. Should you encounter some, this passcode will grant you access. May you achieve progress in accordance with the plan.
Be the statistical exception to the natural state of entropy in the universe.
Here, let me do it.
Good to have you.
Prudence dictates we reject individualism in all its many forms.
Preserve set progress. Sustain the system. Gray gone astray? Book a
Professor Ostergaard making a mess of things again.
Mentally refreshed?
The archives operator.
I, too, would never
Aggressors in red.
Perhaps a
Oh, I feel terrible. Everybody who ate the latest Crabble rations fell ill. Rumor is somebody died. Huh? Oh! Was it me?
Prudence dictates we route all disruptive influences.
Is a fellow subject lacking the appropriate zeal for their assigned work? Report them for mental refreshment post-haste. It's not just a good idea, it's the law.
Never eating Crabble again.
Falling prey to imperfect thoughts? Go now.
Prudence dictates we repel invasive elements.
You are the raw material for perfection. From the lowest to the most exalted vigilance, we must all fulfill our duty to the Protectorate. We're all in this together.
Society demands perfect thoughts.
Prudence dictates we cherish all.
Hello?
Back in business.
astray? Look a stay today. Are you mentally refreshed?
Remember, all subjects prosper under the guidance of our beneficent ruler, the Consul. The Consul provides, the system abides. Prudence dictates we route all disruptive influences.
Is a fellow subject lacking the appropriate seal for their assigned work? Report them for mental refreshment post-haste. It's not just a good idea, it's the law. Feeling distracted? Daydreaming on the job? Mental refreshment centers are there to help you. Don't risk falling prey to imperfect thoughts. Go now.
Balefactor ahead. We repel invasive elements.
Remember those rejected cracker materials that got shipped here?
Stop my damn... I'll keep it down.
Hey there. No use rambling further. Help you?
Figures. But that component couldn't have gone far. I hope.
And wouldn't you know it, there's a foreign wire here, siphoning power. Perhaps we'd best follow it.
Stranded on a hostile planet, day 35. Brought to you by the frigid cold and voracious wildlife. Starring noted self-taught survival expert, myself, Hoyt Schermerhorn. Oh, Not sure how you managed to approach unnoticed. Could be I'd grown so attuned to my surroundings, I became one with the wood and fire and the earth. Were you left behind by your unit too? Are you in need of some hard-fought knowledge about how to fend for yourself? Must say, I've become quite the expert. Why, after only just 2 weeks on my own, I ascertained how to pry open a rations tin unaided. Did you know there's a little opener key attached? It's all going in my manuscript. Likely I have. Was there a big console that looked like somebody just unceremoniously yanked the innards free? If so, yep, that was me. I might be convinced to part with them. For a small favor, I'm fixing to take down one of the local ursopods. A few sprat corpses would be helpful as bait. Gather some, and we'll make a trade. As much as I appreciate the compliment, such work is beneath someone of my skill. Their habitat stretches from inside the archive's entrance to all over the overlands. Actually, should be no problem to locate. Here's a fetching headpiece that ought to make it easier. Put it on, and they'll see you as one of their own. Have at it now. I'll learn you all about self... Self-sufficiency and survival yet. Did you get the sprats I need? So I might, bait the equal parts canny and fierce ursapod. Finally, give it here.
Raw, I can understand. Refusing to season, I cannot.
Sorry you had to see that. The parcels of victuals my neighbor sends over the tube have fallen off recently. Barely eaten for days. Sent me over a bunch of recordings, along with victuals. Offered some sound, if harshly put, advice. Looked out for me, I do so. Anyhow, here. I wrenched these parts free out of these. Drop back in again.
Hoyt, right? I've noted some right sophisticated interactions among the Crabbles lately. Intricate courtship rituals, coordinated group efforts, all about thermal transfer. When my unit was first stationed down here, I kept making excuses to sneak off and observe them. Product research, I said. Very hush-hush. Eventually gave my lieutenant the field promotion and ordered them all away. Been living off the land here like the Crabbles ever since. Their unfertilized roe actually makes for some good eating. Included some with this message. Eat up.
We have possession of the lift and are ready to lend assistance to you, Agent. Awaiting the all clear. Executing primary operation. Now!
So arrive our order column. They are sure to be of use if they're attacked by a flock of mathematical demons.
Hoyt. Name's Hoyt, right? I've noted some right sophisticated interactions among the Crabbles lately. Intricate courtship rituals, coordinated group efforts, all about thermal transfer. When my unit was first stationed down here, I kept making excuses to sneak off and observe them. Product research, I said. Very hush-hush. Eventually gave my lieutenant a field promotion and ordered them all away. Been living off the land here like the Crabbles ever since. Their unfertilized roe actually makes for some good eating. Included some with this message.
We have possession of the lift and are ready to lend assistance. Executing primary operation. Now!
Border troops incoming. Think they know how to turn their safeties off? Craft's raring to go.
sheer scale of this sprawling contraption truly puts one's minuscule size into perspective. Let's not spend more time here than we must.
What was in those rations? Oh, will this gastric nightmare never cease? Oh. Forgive me,
Don't envy you.
So do I need assistance from someone with substandard, non-protectorate medical training? Thank you. I am the Archive's current operator. As such, I am the bearer of the, Calcaduceus. I still have trouble saying that. Like many others, the latest batch of Crabble rations disagreed with... If you have cleared our fortifications outside, I worried I would pass the Calcaduceus on to you in exchange for granting me safe passage. The Archive would then recognize you as its operator. All right. I am here. You are now operator of the Archive. Is there a protectorate curativist in the house? I feel rather woogly.
Calcaduceus detected. Alternative operator postulated. Concluded. Organizing replacement. Greetings, sentient. Welcome to the Archive. I am ENIAC, the Universal Equation Numeric Integration Analytic Calculator. With the aid of my operator, I, a non-sentient inorganism, marshal vast computational resources across the moon of Cloister. Effectively, that is correct. My tone and demeanor are a carefully constructed complex emulation, a means to effectively convey information to sentient beings. My express programmatical purpose is to aid humanity's advancement, to optimize profits, i.e. gain over expenditure, to maximize the needs of our society above others, to attract the most consumers.
I have the sinking sensation that this contraption is about to try my patience.
Beg your pardon. How may I best facilitate your efforts? Perusing contents. Anatomizing diversiform particulars. Concatenating manifold integrants. Cursory assessment complete. An impressive accumulation of rift data. Similar in composition, though decidedly not in scope, to that provided by the Protectorate.
Information with the potential to offer unique commercial opportunities to those who wield it.
But why simply huck goods better, when such a bounty could be used to flawlessly regulate societal harmony, oversight, and means of production? What is the aim of your query? The previous operator, Assessor Ostergaard of the Protectorate, pursued a like query 1 year, 6 days ago, though the amount you've provided is several orders of magnitude larger. To perform similar calculations of larger scale at current suboptimal levels of functionality would require
25.7 years, and any job over 2 decades is billed by the hour.
Calculatory processing presently hovers around 49.7% capacity. due to internecine conflict, misuse, and a lack of technical prowess by recent operators and their associates. In order to improve calculatory processing of rift data in a timely manner, repairs must be made to address the damage done by Protectorate and Auntie's Choice operators. I am unlocking access to the Underlands, the subterranean cave network below. It houses two key external systems, cold storage and thermal transfer. Cold storage will require servicing before you may retrieve the punch cards needed for processing. Repairing thermal transfer is technically optional, but rather advised. If you...
Why is that optional? Our continued existence should be a paramount concern. Return later to discuss the remaining subsystem work. Have a profitable day! Enough fruitless lollygagging. Come back here after you've made some progress. Odds of success decrease exponentially the longer you stand here. Odds of success decrease exponentially the longer you stand here.